the Charleston Real Estate Connection podcast is here, and I'm so excited to bring it to you. It will also be available to you on iTunes and all the other major podcast players within the next few weeks. Currently, it is available on Spotify as well as the podcast website, which is charlestonreconnection.com. That's charlestonreconnection.com, where the RE stands for real estate. Thank you so much for all your support and encouragement during this process, and I am so excited to share the other episodes with you within the next few days. And if you have any information about events that are coming up, definitely let me know. I would love to hear about what's happening in the Charleston and Columbia, South Carolina areas so that I can spread the news and keep people connected and reconnected to all things Charleston. Enjoy this presentation and definitely check out the podcast in the description below. Welcome to the very first episode of the Charleston Real Estate Connection podcast, connecting and reconnecting you with all things Charleston, South Carolina. I am your host, Nia Joy, your golden realtor, licensed in the state of South Carolina, and with Homegate Real Estate. Thank you so much for listening. I am so grateful for you taking the time to listen to this very first podcast. I want you to know that you can find this on iTunes, Google Play, and all major podcast platforms. Or you can also go to our website, charlestonreconnection.com. That's charlestonreconnection.com. So, today's topic is going to be actually a few different topics, 3 different topics. They're kind of really short, so I decided to put them together and bring you some value so that you kind of have a feeling for what this podcast is going to be about. Also answering, who am I? Who is Nia Joy? Like, who is this person that I'm listening to? And should I get my real estate license? And that's not just in South Carolina, but that's just anywhere if you happen to be listening anywhere else. I'm going to be talking about those 3 topics. So again, what is the podcast about? Who is Nia Joy? And should I get my real estate license? So let's get started. So if you're trying to get a feeling for how this podcast is going to be done, it will be done weekly. You'll be getting some information from me weekly, maybe more than once throughout the week. I also have a YouTube channel, so this really inspired me to go ahead and create the podcast just so I can extend the conversation from the videos, because if you're anything like me, you probably prefer the videos to be to the point, give you what you need, and go. But I really wanted the podcast to focus on more in-depth conversation that I wanted to have with my audience. And who is my audience? My audience is pretty much people who are interested in learning more about Charleston, South Carolina, what's going on in the area, definitely wanting to know about real estate, as well as businesses in the area, and maybe even get to know some things that the locals are doing here, such as events. You'll also be hearing back from some of my clients. They'll give some feedback as well. You'll hear from vendors, people that may be able to do electrical work, plumbing, home inspections on your property, that sort of thing. Things that are helpful as well. So it's a home improvement mixed up with some interviews that I'm going to be doing with some business owners and some of the local community. You can expect that. It's not going to just be me talking all the time. I know I like to talk, but not that much. I wanted to mix it up so that you got some value from the area. You can count on me to be your local real estate expert, as well as the community expert on what's going down in Chucktown. Okay, so just so you know, this will also be touching on some events from Columbia, South Carolina as well, because I do serve between Charleston and Columbia, South Carolina. Um, so anybody connected to Charleston, the Charleston area and surrounding areas, you're going to be hearing from them. And I'm so excited. So the first 4 episodes are going to really be heavier on real estate. And on episode um, 4, maybe, no, 4, I actually have a guest as well. And then episode 5, I have a really big guest. Yay, I'm so excited to talk to you and tell you about their business that can, and it's also a business and a venue, so that's pretty cool. Special guest, I'm going to drum roll that one. So the first 4 podcasts will be here immediately for your enjoyment. Definitely leave some comments for me so I know what you think. If you have any other topics you'd like us to address, let me know. We may be able to do that. So that pretty much summarizes what the podcast is about. Yeah, so it'll be a little bit of commentary, interviews, and also giving some feedback on what I think about some things in the area, what's going down with news and updates pertaining to Charleston. Yeah, so that's some good stuff. Yay! So who is Nia Joy? Who am I? So for those of you who are new to the area, may not know me, or from the area and may not know me, I'm going to give you some background on me so you kind of have an understanding of who you are listening to and hopefully speaking with. I want to first start out with saying I have a really cool project I will be doing while doing this podcast. Throughout the month, the first month of January 2020, I will be giving away some promotional items, 365 to be exact, promotional items, just to celebrate the podcast, celebrate new beginnings, and engaging more with the community, thanking them for the support. And I have this Golden Hug project where I'll be giving out free hugs and engaging with the community. And I will be videoing that wherever possible, or definitely to get some audio from it. So it'll be on my YouTube channel as well as the podcast, which is really cool. So definitely, if you happen to be one of those people, give me a shout out. I will definitely let you know when you can expect your segment to be added to the podcast, just so people can hear from you. I'll also be asking questions to those people out there in the community. It'll be a generic question, and I'll ask several people their response, and we'll be putting that on the podcast. So I'm excited about that as well. But back to who I am. I have some notes here, so I'm not going to be here splurging off on you too long, but you're definitely going to get to know me throughout listening to the podcast, which is so exciting because, you know, you don't really get to know a person on the first date, you know what I mean? So I want you to know that I am a Charleston native. I was born in Charleston, raised in Mount Pleasant. I went to Charleston County Public Schools. I ended up at USC Spartanburg after high school. Did that for like a semester or two. Had to have surgery. Yeah, so I transferred after that because it was just too much. So I transferred out to St. Augustine's then college, so St. Augustine's College in Raleigh, North Carolina. And so if you know anything about me, I love my HBCU. Then, while I was there, I majored in biomedical and scientific communication, and that's pretty much a fancy biology degree. However, it was an interdisciplinary degree, and so a lot of people sometimes ask me, like, my whole story about being an agent, which I'm going to answer in the next part of this question about when you get your real estate license or if you're interested. But my major particularly included half of it was, I would say, was about mostly, I'll say about 2/3 of it was sciences and science-based coursework. But I also studied English courses so I can get better at writing. I did communication courses, art courses. So I learned how to draw. Like, I didn't know you could be taught how to draw. I learned how to draw, and I learned some visualization techniques. And then I also learned marketing. So the purpose of the major was to help you go into scientific publishing, which I actually had an interest in. And then by the time I graduated, I was thinking I'd go to podiatry school. So I ended up doing a summer in New York, and then decided to get my master's in public health after I graduated. Worked in Maryland, the state of Maryland, Frederick, Maryland, doing clinical research, and then came back to North Carolina. Finished my master's and got a job at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Worked in the clinical research as well there. Then soon after, I got married to my college sweetheart, Keith Jenkins. He's amazing, my #1 fan. Moved to Hawaii. Yeah, Hawaii, because my husband got stationed there, and I had the opportunity to work in clinical research there. And I enjoyed that thoroughly. Had my kids out there. We have 2 kids. And then we moved to Charleston back in 2013. So fast forward here, I was working at the Charleston VA Medical Center up until September of 2019. Then I decided to pursue real estate full time. So I've had my license since 2018, but decided to go full-time September of 2019, so I'm so excited about that, and I've been enjoying every minute of it since. So that's my quick bio, just so you kind of know that. My background is in science and business and marketing, so hence real estate and sales ended up being a great fit for me. The work I was doing in clinical research, the skills were so transferable, and once I found that out, it was like a no-brainer. This is what I'm going to do. So that's my summary about who I am. And the last part I want to get into is, should you get your real estate license? So I have people ask that question, not only to me, but I have realtor friends that get that too. They're always wondering, should I take this to class, or should I get my license? And here's my answer. I got into real estate because I saw the potential for growth, and I like that there wasn't a ceiling to where I could be career-wise. Like, I could go wherever I wanted to go based on the level of success that I wanted to reach, because everybody has their definition of success in this business. So I don't, and everybody's is different for different reasons. So for me, it was to spend more time with my family, but at the same time, work really hard the first few years and build a business that was something that I can maintain long term and actually grow from, and be able to do things with my family that I probably wouldn't have been able to do had I stayed working in the field I was. And so I saw the growth in this business, and that's what made me want to do it. Now, it is a sales business. I think people sometimes forget that. So that's why I always tell people, when you're thinking about getting your license, ask yourself, are you willing to be a salesperson, or are you just doing it because you would like to have your license and maybe do investments yourself? Maybe you're thinking about flipping properties, and you want to purchase it and flip. Maybe you just want to have access to all those tools that we kind of have because of our license, so you can go in and out of properties. Um, it's just a different reason. You have to ask yourself your why as to why you want your license. I had a realtor ask me that prior to me getting my license when I told her I was interested in getting it, and she's now a good friend of mine. And I knew my why as soon as she asked me, and she just was like, "Wow." Most of the time when I ask people, they just kind of their response isn't usually as thorough as yours, so they were pretty impressed with that. But it's something to think about. Think about it. Should you get it? Yeah. I don't knock people for wanting to get it or taking the class. I will say if you take the class, my opinion of the class is meant to teach you what's on the test. It doesn't teach you how to be an agent. So that's something you might want to keep in mind. I think a lot of people, including myself, have the expectation that when you take the class, you'll learn how to sell real estate or you'll learn how to be an agent. That's not what the class is for. Your instructor may go over some of those things with you, but not thoroughly, because their job is to make sure you pass the test or make sure you have the knowledge needed to pass the test. All classes aren't really exactly the same. I think now we do have an online course. I've never taken it, so I don't know what that's like. But I will say, if you're thinking about taking your test, definitely look into agent prep before you take the test, or maybe even before, maybe once you even enter the class. So agent prep is on YouTube. It's a gentleman there, and he goes over terms that you're going to need to know for this national test. And then, there's a national test and there's a state test. So he pretty much gives you some insight and tools and tips, like with little stories and little tidbits on how you can understand or remember the terms without memorizing a long definition. Because ultimately, if you understand the terminology on the exam, you're going to pass the exam. So it's definitely one of those tests where if you just know what each term means, you can break down the question and answer it correctly that way. So if you're thinking about getting your license, definitely consider your why first, and know that the class work, if you want to take the class is really about the rules and regulations and terminology, but it does teach you about the process of buying and selling, but it's not so much, it doesn't teach you the marketing aspect of it or how to generate leads per se. It's not really meant to do that, so just keep that in mind. So let's see. I have some notes here. Yes, so if you have any further questions about whether or not you should get your real estate license, I'd love to continue the conversation. And you can feel free to leave a comment there or on my YouTube channel or on the website. I'd love to engage with you there. I'm pretty responsive. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm pretty active on those sites, or at least all of them, but not Twitter as much. Now I'm starting to get into Twitter. I'm looking forward to that. But definitely shoot me a message there. My number, if you need to call me at all for anything, my business number is 843-494-8318. That's 843-494-8318. I'd love to hear from you then. And in the description, you can find out more information on getting your real estate license in the state of South Carolina. So, or if you want to preview homes or get on my foreclosure list, any of that stuff, you just let me know and I can get you going. So, I now want to go ahead and wrap things up. I again want to let you know that this month I'll be giving away 365 promotional items to celebrate the launch of the podcast. That's a pretty auspicious goal, but I'm going to do my best to get that done and share that with you. So if you subscribe to this podcast and share it with others, I will definitely have a promotional item for you. So let's get to 365 subscribers this month. I'm going to show, and maybe in future videos what the item is. But for right now, definitely I'll keep track of who's listening. Um, and I would love to share with you how you can pick up your promotional item. And if you know anyone that is interested in being on the podcast, or you have an idea that you want me to possibly engage with you with, or maybe have an event that you'd like me to attend, definitely let me know. I'd be so excited to do that with you. And definitely send me an email. Now, again, like I want to tell you, the next 2 episodes, they're going to be for buyers and sellers. The next one is going to be for buyers, episode 2. And the third episode is going to be for sellers to kind of help them out. And I believe episode 4, I have a guest. I have a special guest. I'm going to leave it at that right now. And episode 5 is my yay client that will be sharing some information with you. Sorry, not client. Special guest. My special guest. So, I mean, I'd like her to be my client. I'm not saying I don't want her to be my client. But anyway, I want to also dedicate this first episode to my mom and my mother-in-law. They are no longer with us. They're no longer with us. That's Judy Jenkins Swinton and Cassandra Jenkins. We miss them dearly, and they were such cheerleaders for both my husband and me, and we so miss them. Our children miss them, friends and family, we miss them, and I just want to dedicate this to them because I know that they would be listening right now if they were here, and I know and believe that somewhere right now they are listening. So thank you for that. And more than anything, this is a wrap. Thank you so much for listening to the very first podcast for the Charleston Real Estate Connection, connecting and reconnecting you with all things Charleston. I am your host, Nia Joy, your golden realtor. I will see you soon, and you definitely stay golden. Have a good one. Bye-bye.